I'd also like you to spend some time looking at models or images with open mouths. Now, they're a very different set of things you have to consider when you're looking at somebody with an open mouth. You've got all these teeth, you've got the gums, sometimes you have a piece of the tongue, and I think our first inclination would be to draw the lips and then draw all the teeth inside. I find it much easier to start with the opening, draw the opening. In that way, you create better spacing for the gums, the teeth, and whatever opening is left underneath those top teeth. And then you can add the lips into it. So I like to begin with the opening of the mouth. In this case, the model's head is turned just slightly, so there's a little bit of an angle to the mouth. You want to make sure you get that. Otherwise, you need to turn the picture so that you're working with it straight across. But I'm going to go ahead and let that mouth be angled and tilted. So I also want you to be working in a large enough scale. You don't have to work overly large, but I want you to be working in a large enough scale that you're not really squishing the features down, so that you can really get a feel for how these should be drawn. In other words, don't work from little tiny images, little tiny eyes and such, and really try to squish them in. All right, so now I've got a general shape for the opening here, and I want to make sure I leave space underneath the teeth for the gums. I mean, for the tongue, and then I also want to make sure I leave some space at the top for the gums. So my teeth are basically going to take up about that much space, and that would be fine. Generally speaking, the center of our teeth align with the middle of our lip. They align with the philtrum underneath the nose, and they align with the center of the nose. In this case, our head is turned a little bit, so the center of the teeth aren't quite lining up with the center of the nose. Feels a little unusual, but we're gonna make it work out here. So I have right here in the center, this will be the center of those two front teeth. The main thing that I want you to understand about drawing the teeth is that you should not draw around every single tooth completely. If you do that, you're really going to look like the model has a mouthful of teeth. It's better to let the centers of the teeth sort of blend together and to draw the negative space around the teeth and underneath the teeth. So we're going to end up with these little triangular shapes over the top of the teeth, and that's going to be showing us the gum line, really. In this tooth, I see one more, really, and then it begins to get into that shadow. I can see a little bit back there, but not so much. And then I want to do the same thing on this side. Then you can draw that negative space underneath the teeth. This is where we're showing the actual tongue. It doesn't really look like a tongue in this particular case. And in some cases, you can see a light edge to a tooth. It's okay to include that. You just don't want to, like I said, draw around every single tooth. It will look very cartoonish. All right, so this is that bottom lip. Now I have kind of a guideline for what I'm going to be doing. If you want, you can have this other area back here, but for the most part, this area in the corners of the mouth is going to be very dark. And those teeth are going to begin to come out. And so the same thing is happening on this side. Again, make sure you're using a very careful scumbling technique. I'm moving just a little bit faster than I need to be. And now when I look at the value structures, the corners of the mouth are quite dark, and that shadow bleeds around underneath this upper lip. And the teeth are absolutely the whitest. Underneath the teeth is fairly dark also, not quite as dark as the other sides. And the gums being just a little bit lighter, this side being, the gums a little bit lighter, and then the lips, which we still have to put in. I haven't put in the top edges of my lips. Let me go ahead and do that. Notice that her lip kind of disappears into this edge over here at the corner. I'm going to draw these outlines just a little bit darker than I need to so that you can see them. The same thing happens with this lower lip, and I can sort of decide. The lips are very stretched in this particular smile. Just want to clean up that edge a little bit. May end up making this lower lip a little bit wider. But again, we can go in here and put that inner value in before that lip gets shaded. And then we can spend some time actually shading the lips. Again, the lips are going to be a little bit darker on this side than they are here. Make sure you really pick up some of those highlights as you go. The most important thing when you're doing the open mouth is please not to draw around all parts of the tooth. They should sort of run together. The main part of the teeth, the white parts should run together there. Okay, I want 5 mouths all together. 2 of them should be open mouths.